Good food is not everything when it comes to health, but without it, everything is nothing. We welcome you to our show, Kitchen Treasure. For the past meetings, we were giving you some techniques on how to improve your nutritional status and how to improve your food preparation using so simple things that can be found in your kitchen and in the local markets. We know that fruits, vegetables, nuts, and grains, the plant foods, can actually provide us with good amount of nutrients, health-enhancing chemicals that can actually give us health and give us longevity. There's no question about fruits and vegetables and grains. You know, when you eat this kind of food, we are sure that you will be able to protect yourself from heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer. Natural foods are really have good amount of nutrients, carbohydrates. You can actually get good amount of carbohydrates from plant foods. There is no question about that. For vitamins and minerals, yes, you can get your vitamins and minerals from plant foods. Now, for the past shows, we were discussing which food is really best. Can animal product give us also this kind of nutrients? We are trying to examine here whether plant foods or animal products can give us good amount of the following nutrients. No question about carbohydrates, no question about fats and oils, and vitamins and minerals. You can actually get it from plant foods. But the question this time is, how about protein? Protein, the nutrient that seems to wear of super importance in our society. For many years, it has been assumed that animal protein is the primary source of all essential amino acid, superior in quality and abundant in quantity, while plant protein is lacking in essential amino acid, poor in quality, and too low in quantity. Are these assumptions right? Modern scientific research suggests otherwise, but let's take a look at what proteins are. Proteins form the structure and functional unit of every cell in every plant and animal. They're made by some 22 amino acids, in the same way that words are made by the few letters of the alphabet. There are only handful letters of the alphabet, right? Okay, those of you, we are so sure that, by just combining these letters of the alphabet, we can create vast number of words. Same is true also with amino acids. There are only few amino acids, but these amino acids combined together, you will be able to create vast number of proteins. Now, where do this amino acid come from? All amino acids come from the action of the sun rays on the leaf. Basic science. So, action of the sun on the leaf. So, if you want to examine the amino acid of the kernel of the corn, it is different from the corn silk, different from the corn leaf, and different from the kernel of the corn. Now, examine all these plant foods. You can see wide variety of proteins from grain to grain, plant to plant, and from, vegetable to vegetable, from seed to seed. All of them have their own unique proteins. And people would wonder, how come? For all these years, only animal protein is being promoted all around. You know the reason? The reason is there is business background. They have budget in the promotion. So people are promoting only meat has good amount of protein because they have budget when it comes to promotion. There is actually business behind that thing. People would be asking, okay, egg is really high biological protein value. That's true, but again, there are so many issues about the egg, and then later on say, oh, because there is business behind that. Milk, yeah, they would say that has a good biological protein value, but they have sufficient funding when it comes to promotion because they have product behind the scene. Now, how about plant foods? We don't have budget in the promotion. When I promote all these plant foods, who will pay me? Oh, where will I pass the bill, my charge, my professional fee? Should I charge it to an ordinary farmer? Can they pay me? So it's nonsense, you know. That's the reason why people don't promote these things. There's no money behind this. Nobody will become rich when you promote this one. Now, look at this one. So again, this is an idea that can actually help us. And some of you would say, what really happens to protein when you eat the protein? Now, the protein, for example, if I eat plant protein, the protein is being disassembled by my digestive system and then reassembled again to form specific protein needed by my body. Now, if the cow eats grass, okay, what happens? Where do they get the protein? The cows. Okay, definitely the cows get the protein from the grass. Okay? Okay, so the protein is taken inside, eaten by the cow, and it is disassembled. The protein is disassembled by the digestive system and then reassembled again to form specific protein needed by the body. Now, if you eat beef, what happens? Same process is happening. The protein is being disassembled by your digestive system and then reassembled again to form specific protein needed by your body. Neither man nor animal can synthesize the essential amino acid but must obtain them from the plant kingdom. Plant protein is not lacking in essential amino acid. Rather, plant protein is the primary source of all essential amino acid. If we see this chart will really give you an idea, okay, from plant, and then animal will eat the grass, and then man will eat the cow, and then sometimes grass will be eaten by the cow, and the cow is eaten by the lion. So this is the cycle. But those of you who are watching us, especially those of you who are sick, you would like to discover longevity, we have the solution for that. And the secret actually is go straight to plant proteins. There's no problem. In the book, they would be saying that how do we measure the quality of protein? Sometimes we measure the quality of protein by the biological protein value. And the biological protein value is measured when the protein is digested, utilized, absorbed, and utilized by the body. Now, in the laboratory, egg has the highest biological protein value. It has 94. But for the purposes of comparison, it has been given 100. So in the laboratory, they compare all proteins to egg. Okay. Now, the biological protein value of other foods may be whole grains. Let's try to see some proteins here. Actually, they are not really being called as protein, but you know, unpolished rice has also good biological protein value by 80%. Now, if you refine that unpolished rice, so the biological value goes down. Corn is also good. But if you refine and turn that to chips, obviously the biological protein value goes down. So this idea would really give us an assurance that we too can also get the biological protein value from plant foods. Now, many of you would be asking, oh, because many people around keep on telling us, if you don't eat meat, no, you will really be weak. No, it is actually, it doesn't give you strength. And here comes the Filipinos. The Filipinos would be singing, Balot Penoy. What's the song? Kumain kayo ng balot, and then if you don't eat balot, hihina ang tuhod nyo. Okay, so here comes the song, and from childhood, we kept on hearing that song, and then people are singing that song, and then psychologically, yeah, it can happen. If you don't eat balot, then the tuhod, hihina, and then here comes some psychological effect. But later on, the Filipinos become sick. Cholesterol goes up. You know, triglyceride goes up. And here comes an idea that, some of them can have lots and lots of allergies. Kids can have asthma. And because of the balot and penoy. And the balot are just, they are all around the village at nighttime shouting, balot, penoy! Sige na, kumain na kayo ng balot. Kung hindi kayo kakain ng balot, tihina ang tuhod nyo. So, we buy the balot. Filipinos eat lots and lots of balot. And actually, I doubt if we can have longevity if we still continue that balot. Now, this slide can actually give us some information that you compare. Compare the biological protein value of your vegetables. Okay, vegetables, look at the slide. Vegetables and grains and beans and fish and beef and pork. No, they are almost the same. Their scores are so close to each other, being surpassed only by milk and eggs. So, meaning, vegetables are still high. Nothing, no arguments here. So, when I was a student in nutrition, they kept on telling us that it must be a complementary protein if you will be getting it from plant foods. Because they discovered that plants contain only around 7 amino acids. If you want really good health, you need 8 essential amino acids. That's right. That's right. No argument about that. That's right. 7 amino acids, like grains or beans, can have 7 amino acids, and there is one amino acid that is lacking. We call it the limiting amino acid. For example, in mongo is lysine. But the good news is, lysine can be taken from rice. So when you eat mongo and rice, eat together, oh, you're taking the 8 essential amino acids. So you don't need to worry, my friends. Here comes the beans. This is one of the best substitute for your proteins. It's so cheap. Okay? Here, you can have different kinds of beans. And you can see here, this is, by the way, soaked overnight. And you can wash, remove, change the water so that you can save some fire in cooking. And the technique here actually is you have to cook it all together. And then when it is already cooked, okay, when this is cooked already, you can keep this in the freezer frozen and then reserve it for other future use. Because if you will be boiling every meal time or every time you need it, you would really be discouraged. It's hard to boil and you will be consuming lots and lots of fire. So cook this all together and then boil it and then keep in the freezer, and every time you need it, you can just withdraw a piece or maybe a package. It depends upon the size of your family. If you're just 1 or 2 or 3, so just have a small package. And this is actually the best, the practical way in using the beans. Now, look, when you have the beans and you have the rice, I was telling earlier that you can have the complete protein, huh? Okay, so you have the beans, you have mongo, for example, and rice. And that's already perfect when it comes to protein quality. What's lacking is vegetable. So when you have your beans like mongo, and then you put your kulitis, put your talbos ng kamote, or alugbate, or maybe kangkong. That's already a complete dish. By the way, that's already and then put your rice, that's already 1 dish meal. Just cook all together. If you don't have time, cook all together in this 1 dish meal. There's no wrong in combination. You know, I grew up in Bulacan. I am a Bulaqueña, and the Bulaqueñas are really strict when it comes to cooking. You can only combine this vegetable to that kind of vegetable. I became so sad when finally I realized that we have the wrong concept. The concept is, eat as you wish, by the way, cook as you wish. And then later on, you can have, if this is not, this, you cannot find this in any of the recipe, and then name it. This is your recipe. And when you do that, you can actually discover treasures in the kitchen. Imagine if you have several bottles in the kitchen and you have lots and lots of beans in the kitchen. You know that bottle there are really loaded with beans? Imagine, loaded with beans. So it's just covered, it's hiding, the treasures are hiding on that bottles. So again, friends, you don't need sophisticated storage when you use beans. Just a bottle or just a container, sealed container, and you'll have it for a long time. So, and it's not that expensive. Actually, you can have big yield. A kilo can feed so many people. Okay? So that's the idea. Now, how about the quantity of protein? No, there's no problem with the quantity of protein. We could easily get the quantity of protein when it comes to plant foods. So we can safely conclude that plant foods can give us the primary source of all essential amino acid, equal in quality to animal protein, and has 2 to 3 times the quantity required by man. So no doubt. Okay? And it has a bonus because when you eat the beans, when you include this in your dishes, in your meal, it has the ability to lower down your cholesterol. We have experimented to several groups of people. We have given them the diet. If you don't include beans, it's hard to bring down the cholesterol. It's hard to bring down the triglyceride. So here comes the secret. You know, for you diabetics, if you don't have beans, it's hard to control your blood sugar. So get the beans. The diet for diabetes is so simple. It's greens and beans. Okay, so beans, for diabetic, it's sometimes hard to give large amount of fruits. So the diet is simply greens and beans. Okay. Now, going back to the practical application, the beans is also palatable. Some of you are a little bit afraid, oh yeah, I know, I'm convinced. But how can my family eat this kind of not so tasty food? Now, the secret here is, again, the technique. Technique? Okay, you have to get several recipes. By the way, the beans can be turned to patties. You want bean burger? You can do it. It's just a matter of creation. This can also be a sweetened bean. Okay. My favorite is the black beans, and then I put little soy milk and little muscovado, and put grated coconut. Wow, that's really best. Okay, really good. Now, this kind of beans, this is after cooking, can be one of the best ingredients of your salad. So here comes the buffet. Here comes the buffet table, for example. And you have the boiled beans with your vegetable salads. And then with your maybe corn and your low-fat dressing. And then people would just be mixing the food. And this can actually, should always be part of your salad. This is already a complete meal. If you have your beans, you have your vegetable here for your regular salad, like you can put carrots or cucumber or any vegetables regular for your green salad maybe. And then you have this, your corn, and maybe some of the low-fat dressing, and maybe a bread or a cracker here, or your chapati. That's already a complete meal. Now, the beans also is the best when it comes to burritos, to if you will be making some pizza, you can put the beans on top. Maybe some of you are laughing, oh, what's the taste of pizza with beans on top? Yeah, you try it. You just put the tomatoes. It's just like the sweet, the the beans with the tomato paste and then put that on top of your pizza or your bread, that can actually, you know, give you the complete meal. Imagine you have already the bread, you have beans, and you have tomatoes, and that can actually give you good amount of nutrients. Another idea that we could do is, this is one of the best ingredients when it comes to shake. Have you tried making mango shake? No, the first time I was introduced to the mango shake was in Indonesia. You know, in Indonesia, they shake mango. And amazing. You know, that's better than ice cream, really. They shake mango with soy milk, and they put little muscovado and crushed ice. Nako, it's my favorite when I go to Indonesia. Even in Malaysia, they do the same thing. Here in the Philippines, we can also do the same thing. It's not only mango gisado. We can do a lot of recipes in these beans, especially if we want to introduce this idea to the children, Now, you can have combinations. Like, you can make it also combined. The mango can be combined with black beans and then grind it and then put little of maybe, for some of you who don't have soy milk, you can put non-dairy creamer. Maybe that we can do that. Those of you who don't have source for soy milk, maybe evap milk can be the next substitute. Evaporated milk is not 100% milk. So the idea here is just to feed the kids, okay? Now, the beans also can be a dessert. A dessert. When I say dessert, we can actually put this in your sweet salad. Okay? The sweet salad, like, you can put the beans with, okay, again, sago can be for happiness. Just to create good recipe, just put little sago, and maybe you can slice few fruits, banana maybe, or we can put some of the, it is very similar to halo-halo. Okay? So the halo-halo, we usually do the red beans, for halo-halo. But it's not only red beans that can be added to halo-halo. You can also add red kidney beans. You try the small beans, the black beans here, and then put in halo-halo. Perfect. You can also put the red kidney beans. Oh, pinto beans is nice. This is soft. Okay, so if you put this to halo-halo, I'm sure, halo-halo fruits and beans, this is one of the best. This one can also be eaten as maybe part of your gravy. You know the gravy, the sauce. So you grind, you blend the gravy, you blend the beans, and then you can make it. You know, if you turn this to gravy or to sauce, kids won't recognize that they are eating beans. And this can actually be the thickening agent. At the same time, this can actually provide you with good amount of protein. Now, here comes the idea. The idea is you need to experiment. Turn this into salad, turn into dessert, and beverage. Aba, we have already hundreds of recipes. Thousands! Sorry, it's not hundreds. It's thousands of recipes hidden in our kitchen. In my cabinet here. In my cabinet here, there are hundreds of beans. Name it. We have dal. Have you seen dal? The yellow one, the small lentils. It's here, but you cannot recognize. There is also here several kinds of mango. You know, the red mango, green, and yellow. And it's not only mango, red kidney beans, white kidney beans. Sitaw seeds, garbanzos. And hidden here are some of the seeds, sorghum. That's my secret. If you have some sorghum around the place, you look for some resources, Maybe some farmers can plant the sorghum. I have here the best recipe for soy milk. So from the soybean. The soybeans, you can turn the soybeans to soy milk. You just boil and liquefy, grind it and extract. Sorry, wrong. First, you have to soak, and then you blend and extract the milk, and then boil. That's already soy milk. Okay, you want to turn that to taho? Simply by adding gelatin. Not gelatin, gulaman. Okay, add gulaman, agar-agar, and that becomes taho. You want tofu? Oh, you add vinegar, and that becomes tofu. You want it harder? You add more sour, coagulant, and then that becomes tokwa, hard one. Okay, so again, this one are really these beans can actually give us lots and lots of recipes. Now, the next idea here is sometimes there is gas in the beans. So to prevent, you need to soak the beans and then throw the first water. Soak it overnight. The easiest is soak it in hot water. Boil the water and then put the beans, and when it's boiling, you have to soak overnight and then remove the water. Throw the water the next day so that you can prevent the formation of gas. And the usual cookery for beans, the Filipino way, is bongo bean with the vegetable, right? Those of you who have high cholesterol and high triglyceride, I would rather suggest that when you saute, you can saute in water. Just get the real thing, the usual thing, garlic and onions, and put little water, and then saute. You saute with garlic and water, and then put your cooked beans. And then add the water, maybe season it with little salt, or if you have mushroom, okay, seasoning, powder maybe, or fresh mushroom, that can actually add flavor. And those of you who would like to substitute some MSG, it's not good, okay? You can put tomatoes, and the tomatoes will actually give you the taste of MSG. Or you can put dash of sugar, and that will actually give you the taste of the monosodium glutamate. And when it boils, you put the leaves. Day 1, you can have your malunggay. Day 2, no more malunggay. And then you put talbos ng kamote, or kangkong, or spinach. And you can have a wide variety of your mongo gisado in water. And by the way, if there is leftover, don't throw the mongo. The best food actually is the leftover mongo. This is actually the technique. You have to put, or you have to eat first the vegetable. Eat the vegetable. And then the leftover is the mongo. It can be the best leftover mongo. And then freeze it again. Freeze it. It is already seasoned. Okay, it has already taste. It has taste already. And then the next time, because it's leftover, you get it again from the freezer, and then cook and then boil again the leftover mongo, and then put other vegetables. So that is actually the practical way. So the only thing that you should do here is, by the way, you have to remember that do not put vegetable when you freeze. If there is leftover vegetable, you have to get the vegetable and rather throw if you cannot consume it. So freeze the vegetable without, freeze the mongo without the vegetable. So my friends, this is just the beginning of our discovery, and we will be continuing some discoveries on beans. And I believe that when God created beans, God's mentioned in the Bible a verse in Genesis, the plant yielding seeds with the seeds. Plant yielding seeds. I personally, he even mentioned the seeds, but not really exactly. The seed is special mentioned in that verse. And I personally believe seeds are edible. and seeds are really best for us. So again, watch us in our next show and discover treasures in the kitchen. Put treasures also in your kitchen. You know, good food is not everything when it comes to health, but without it, everything is nothing. Thank you very much, and God bless us.